private parcel where I have written permission. We talk about designing habitat. Sometimes you just can't design your own habitat because you may not be able to afford property, you may not be able to lease property. So sometimes you have to knock on doors to get permission or hunt public land. Well, this is a private piece of land, and when I scout, this is post-season scouting, it's January 5th today, and I first started with looking at aerial photos. I've hunted this land before, but there's sections of it because it's over 1,000 acres. There's sections that I haven't hunted before, and I wanted to explore more areas. You can never have enough places to hunt. You want to remember, limit as much pressure as possible and try to play on what other hunters are doing. And today I first started with aerial photos this morning and previous days, and I looked at areas where there was transitions in cover, thick cover, big open woods, that area of timber that we call edge. So we're looking for those transitional areas or the edge areas, and I did that first with the aerial photo. And then today was a good day also because there's some light snow. I think you can see it in the background here. There's some light snow on the ground. It allows you to see fresh tracks, and it allows you to see trails a little bit better, and scrapes from this past fall. Often if the ground was opened up after the leaves fell, the dirt is a little bit warmer, and when the snow hits it, because we had a little bit warmer day yesterday and then it cooled off, and then the ground was obviously warmer, particularly where that open scrape was from the fall, and the snow will melt on it, so it helps you see scrapes a little easier, helps you see trails a little easier. And so overall it's good conditions for scouting. And yeah, you never would think that you could have good conditions for scouting or particular conditions for scouting, but today, very good conditions for scouting. It's about 30, 32, and it's really nice out here for walking. So we have the aerial photos first, and then we have the light snow, and we talked about the edge. Use the mapping to find the edge, transitions from cover to big woods and different things that fall along those lines. Now, what am I targeting? Well, I'm obviously looking for scrapes that were put down in the fall. I actually found a couple today. One was opened up, and it was used, and I have a camera on it, and there was a decent buck that made it through gun season and everything, so I'm pretty happy about that. I'll be hunting that next year for sure. I hunted that stand this year one time and saw, I think, 4 bucks and several doe, but nothing that was worth shooting. But next year I'll definitely be in there. So scrapes and rubs, you're able to see them easier on days like this. And what I do is, once you look at your aerial photo, find the areas that have edge, you start looking for the scrapes and the rubs, and you start plotting those points on your map. I take my phone and I use Google Earth, or Google Maps actually, and there's also Onyx Hunt, and you go along, you find major sign, you mark it. And I did that all day. I've been out here probably for 2.5, 3 hours scouting this new area, and I'm very pleased. I saw deer. I actually saw a buck. I have already photographs of deer from post-season, and I plotted the points. I did this a week or two ago as well on another tract of land. It was actually public land, and you'll see a pattern. It's very easy, and it helps your scouting. I don't know if people think of it much, but I started doing this years ago when we started having the phones that were capable of doing it. But before that, I would go on a map, and I would look at the map, go and scout it, and then I'd come back to the computer and mark the points on the map again. And those patterns, they lay themselves out, and you can see them pretty easily, and it's very obvious where the deer are moving. You can see straight lines and connect the dots, and then based on food, based on cover, you figure out where your stands are going to be and the best situations. And I also always consider other hunters. Even though this is private land, there are some other people who have some permission to hunt on it. It's over 1,000 acres, but it still gets a little bit of pressure. Neighbors come on it also who are not supposed to be here, particularly with ATVs and things like that. So no matter where you are, there tends to be some pressure unless you're in some really, really cool states that don't have many hunters, like Iowa, I guess, or Missouri or something like that. But here in Pennsylvania, it seems like there's a hunter around every corner. Even though they tell us that hunter numbers are dropping, there still are a lot of hunters out here. So hopefully those tips today would help you in the postseason. The time is now. You harvest your buck in January, February, when you put in the groundwork, when you get out there and you walk and you walk and you walk. I was here a couple weeks ago and I walked for 7 hours. Spent 7 hours in the woods. Now some people might think that's crazy, but if you're an avid hunter and you're passionate about it, you harvest your deer now, so to speak, because you're putting in the groundwork. And when October rolls around, particularly the end of October and November, those great 10 days, October 31st through the 10th of November roughly, Veterans Day, 10 or 12 days. I mean, those are the days that you live for if you're a serious archer. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm out here all the time. It's tough because of work, but you've got to make time if you're passionate about it. And everyone can have some success. So good luck. Get out there scouting.